I'm so nervous. I haven't practiced for years. I don't know how to prepare. Please help me. I just want you to know it's okay to feel nervous, especially if you haven't been practicing in a while, and especially if it's in another country. But the good news is, with the right strategy, you can definitely study effectively for your NCAS or even NCLEX. Hi everyone, if it's your first time watching, welcome. I'm Ira. I'm an RN here in Vancouver, British Columbia, a former nursing instructor for IENs, and founder and nursing coach for Nursing Collective Co. In today's video, I'm going to answer most of the questions that I received from you guys. So thank you for sending them my way. I wrote it all down. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you press that button so you get notifications of every time I post videos that's IEN related. So let's get started. The first question I have here is, what kind of case scenarios would I be given for the CBA and the SLA? As you can't predict the questions you're going to get for both CBA and SLA, my suggestion is to prepare as much as you can for both. So what does that mean? For both CBA and SLA, it will test your competency in various nursing case scenarios that's relevant to Canadian healthcare. For the CBA, you can expect case scenarios where you will be involved as a nurse in interpreting patient charts, patient data, recognizing patient symptoms, making clinical decision making, and critical thinking in terms of your intervention. So for example, you might be given a case scenario or a question about hypertensive crisis or a patient with high blood sugar, and what do you need to do as your nurse? What's your priority action? You might also get questions about patient confidentiality, informed consent, and how can you advocate for patient safety as their nurse. Once you're working here as an RN here in Canada, prioritization and delegation is one of your main responsibilities as an RN. So you might get questions about prioritization and delegation in your CBA and even in your SLA. So you need to identify which patient will require immediate attention. So you need to do triage. And also, what kind of task can you delegate to an LPN or to a healthcare aide? Because working here as an RN requires a lot of collaboration and teamwork. So you need to decide which one you can delegate and which one you cannot. So you need to be aware of your scope of practice. Now let's talk about SLA case scenarios. So for the SLA case scenarios, it's more on hands-on skills. For the SLA case scenarios, you can expect your patients to have acute and chronic condition. So that might be involve you as a nurse managing a patient with chest pain, or a patient post-surgery, and then you need to do wound care, or you need to give medications. It might be sublingual, IM, sub-Q. You might give medications via IV as well. Another responsibility we have as a nurse here, as an RN or an LPN, is therapeutic communication. So for your case scenarios, that might involve communication type of cases. In addition, you might handle patient case scenarios where you need to provide patient education. You need to do conflict resolution with the patient or maybe even family members. Some of the scenarios may also test your ability to respond to sudden changes in patient's condition. Most of the time, this happens in all kinds of nursing simulations. So for example, a patient is having a cardiac arrest, or maybe a patient is having anaphylaxis reaction. So they are assessing what kind of nursing interventions are you providing, and also they are testing your critical thinking. Are you able to critically think during a pressured situation? So the best way to review for the CBA and the SLA is to review Canadian nursing standards, know your scope of practice as an RN and an LPN, and practice Canadian nursing skills and critical thinking and decision-making skills. So how can you do that? You can practice questions like the NCLEX RN workbook. So get an NCLEX RN questionnaire, so you can do apps or you can do an actual book, and that way you will familiarize yourself with critical thinking and answering those type of questions. The next question I have here is, hi ma'am, what type of nursing skills should I prepare for the SLA? So for the SLA, it's practical, hands-on nursing skills. So that's commonly used in Canadian healthcare. So it'll be basic nursing procedures such as taking vital signs, infection control, how to do proper PPE. So you need to be familiar how to do donning and doffing of your PPE. You also need to do medication administration. So you need to know how to safely prepare and administer IV medications, IM, sub-Q, sublingual. You might also need to do wound changes, wound dressing changes. So you need to learn how to do sterile techniques, how to assess a wound, and how to document that as well. Other things you need to focus on would be head-to-toe assessments, focus assessments. So if your patient is having an emergency situation, you need to be able to do a focus assessment. So for example, patient is having cardiac arrest, then you're going to be doing a cardiovascular assessment, respiratory assessments, and then of course your documentation. So for your documentation, it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise. You can use SOAP. So SOAP is subjective, objective, assessment, and then planning. And then equipments. You're going to be using equipments maybe such as an IV pole, an IV machine, glucometer machine, the vitals machines, drainage bags, and of course oxygen delivery system. And lastly, therapeutic communication. So maybe de-escalating a very tense situation with the patient or family member, or just talking to the patient. Maybe the patient is having a very stressful, distressed situation, and you need to talk to the patient compassionately using your therapeutic communication skills. Third question I have here says, I'm so nervous. I haven't practiced for years. I don't know how to prepare. Please help me. I just want you to know it's okay to feel nervous, especially if you haven't been practicing in a while, and especially if it's in another country. But the good news is, with the right strategy, you can definitely study effectively for your NCAS or even NCLEX. Here's what I suggest. First, start with the basics. So that means reviewing core nursing concepts such as pharmacology, mental health, patient care, clinical decision-making, critical thinking skills, and how can you apply that to patient case scenarios. So it's good to practice this type of questions. Again, studying like with an NCLEX book or an NCAS study guide. So if you go on Inspire Global Assessment or NCAS, on their website, there's practice questions that you can do as well. Also, if you go to my website, I'll put the link below. You can download the workbook I created for you for IENs. The survival guide for IENs workbook also talks about how to study effectively for your NCAS, CBA, SLA, and even NCLEX. Next, practice daily. I know it's hard sometimes when you have work and you have a family, but if you can dedicate at least 1 hour to 3 hours per day and just doing all these questions. So for the CBA, practice NCLEX type of questions and case scenarios, and then for the SLA, again, it's more hands-on, so like practical skills. So familiarizing yourself how to use an IV machine or how to administer safely an IV or an IM sub-Q and things like that. Third is simulate real scenarios. So practice common nursing questions or scenarios with a friend, or if you know another IEN, then they'll be perfect. Or if you have a mentor or a coach, they'll be great as well. And then practice hands-on skills like medication administration, your head-to-toe assessment, focus assessments, or how to document, or how to talk to a patient in a therapeutic manner. So that'll be good practice for you to do before your actual NCAS. Fourth is use online resources. So if you're watching this video, yay, you're doing that already. So watch videos that talks about NCAS, SLA simulations, or CBA. I have videos like that too, so make sure you check that out after watching this. And then thirdly, be positive and don't give up. You've already come so far. You just need the strategies to succeed in preparing for your NCAS or even your NCLEX. So make time for it, put some effort in, and if you have study groups, be part of a community like Facebook groups, or even in YouTube, like put comments below, talk to other IENs or a coach or a mentor, and that'll be helpful. Okay, next question I have here is, I'm a nurse from the Philippines. How can I work in Canada as a nurse? So, to work in Canada as a nurse, as an RN or an LPN, there are a few key steps that you need to follow or accomplish before you can even work here as a nurse. So, first is deciding which province you're going to go to, because depending on which province you're going to go to, there's going to be different regulatory bodies. The regulatory body is the one that you need to apply to, and you're going to send your documents to. So for your documents, you need to gather all your documents from the nursing school you went to in your home country, and also from your employer. So if you're still in the Philippines, then I suggest talking to your employers and school administrations saying that you're moving to Canada, so you would need these documents from them later on. And then after that, you need to apply to the regulatory body of the province that you're migrating to. And then they're going to tell you what are the steps. So it might be you need to do NCLEX, you need to do an English proficiency exam, or you need to do NCAS, so the CBA and the SLA. Then after you do all those assessments, they will let you know based on how you did what are the next steps. So either they'll give you authorization to work, or they'll tell you that you need to take this one course, a specialty course, or you need to do a bridging program. So it will all depend on the province you're going to apply to, your work experience, and all of your documentations. Next question I have here is, ma'am, I'm not familiar with the equipments used here. What should I do? Please help me. So what I want to tell you is, don't worry, you're not the only one. A lot of the IENs are not familiar with the equipments used here in Canada, as maybe you weren't using that before in your home country when you were practicing as a nurse. And what I'm going to tell you is, don't worry, there are ways that you can familiarize yourself with the equipments even before your NCAS exam. The first step I'm going to share is research and learn. So watch video demonstrations of how to use this equipment, such as IV pumps, glucometers, or using syringes. The syringes, probably it would be the same in terms of medication administration, but there are videos of the step-by-step tutorials on how to use this equipment. So for example, for IV machine or the IV pump, the main one used here would be Alaris pump. And when you Google Alaris IV pump, the Alaris website would actually have a video tutorial of how to use the actual machine. And make sure you watch that maybe a couple of times prior to your SLA and CAS. I also suggest doing that once you start working as a nurse. So before you even work in the hospital, make sure you are familiar with some of this equipment. Next, practice hands-on. So if you can, if it's possible, try to do it in person. So for example, one of the website I went to in terms of scholarship is Douglas College. So Douglas College has this great program where they offer free program for IENs. You just have to, of course, meet some of the guidelines, and they help you practice with IV machines, and they would have that in the nursing lab. If not, if you know anyone else, maybe working in the hospital or working in schools, and if you're able to maybe practice with some of the machines, that would be great. But again, if not, you can also just watch those videos as well prior to your NCAS. Also, another tip is familiarize yourself with the guidelines. So know the Canadian protocols in terms of using this equipment, such as patient safety precautions or using sterile technique when you're using such equipments. Next one I have here says, thank you for your help, ma'am. Do we need to do the injection administration, for example, intramuscular, to a real person or a mannequin? Great question. For the SLA, you won't be administering the IM injection to a real patient. Typically, you'll either demonstrate the preparation or simulate how you're going to do it on a mannequin or a simulated arm. Here's what you can focus on: preparing for the medication. So practice doing the actual preparation while maintaining aseptic technique, checking for air bubbles, and then checking your dendrites, and then doing your 3 checks. And what does that mean? Next is simulated administration. So that means you have to demonstrate how we're going to do the actual medication administration. So they're going to ask you, and you have to demonstrate the technique. So that means choosing the proper site, so landmarking, the angle of your bevel, and then making sure again it's sterile technique, and then maintaining patient safety. Next is verbalizing your steps. So the instructor might ask you to verbalize step by step what are you doing. So they are assessing your clinical decision making, the rationale, why are you doing step 1, step 2, step 3, right? So for example, why are you checking air bubbles? So they might ask things like that, and again assessing your clinical decision making in regards to patient safety. And the last question we have for today is, she says, thank you for the information you gave me. It really helped me in my SLA. Please, can you give me insight of what to expect after the CBA and SLA and CAS? First, congratulations on passing your exams. I'm happy for you, yay. And I'm glad that whatever I told you helped you with your SLA. And this is what you can expect after your CBA and SLA. So your assessment will be reviewed by the NCAS team, and they're going to send you a competency report. And this report will show your strengths and what you need to improve on. So your assessment will be reviewed by the NCAS team, and they're going to send you a competency report. And this report will show your strengths and what you need to improve on. Based on your competency report from NCAS, your regulatory body, so for example, the BCCNM, will decide what are the next steps. This can include taking additional courses, doing a bridging program, or hopefully moving with a registration or a provisional. Further education is required, and start doing your research and begin planning how you can accomplish this. Stay connected with resources and mentors who can guide you through the next path. So if you haven't yet, please don't forget to like and subscribe so then you get notified every time I post videos just like this one. And also in our community group here in YouTube, I post NCLEX type questions that you can answer every day. And if you found this beneficial and helpful, please send it to other IENs who might find this beneficial. And again, I believe in you. Keep going, keep growing, and don't quit. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.
If you found this video helpful, please support the channel by liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell for future videos. Drop a comment below as well to share your thoughts, ask questions, or suggest any future topics. I would love to connect with you. See you in the next video!